Hello, I'm Angela Avery, host of Be a Kid in Clarkston and a Clarkston area family counselor. We welcome you to the show where we learn about whole child and whole adult development in our community. Today's episode is going to be a little different than previous episodes. Today I'm going to discuss topics relevant to my work as a counselor and relevant to all of us who are parents. I'm going to talk about depression as it relates to teenagers. School is starting in a few weeks, and to understand depression, we must educate ourselves. Teens are primarily susceptible because of the hormonal changes, societal expectations, academic pressure, new responsibilities, and are at the age where they're learning what's important to them. You know, puberty not only brings physical changes, but emotional changes as well. Depression, generally speaking, often grows its roots at this age and can become very challenging unless it's addressed. Let's look at depression more in depth. Depression affects about 11% of adolescents by age 18, according to a survey done by the National Institute of Mental Health. I would say that percentage is skewed by the number of adolescents actually reporting depression. More often than not, they're not reporting symptoms, but simply living with it. What causes depression? Well, that question is a difficult one. Often it is a mix of biological, environmental, and interpersonal issues combining into a perfect storm. The symptoms of depression are sometimes pretty obvious, but more often than not, they're hidden. It becomes very hard to know what is normal teen behavior and what is mental illness. Teens are notorious for being dramatic, moody, testing, angry, and distant. The best ally your child can have is you. You are the expert on your child and can notice if behavior is new, pretty common, or if it's problematic in some way. If you suspect that your child is depressed, it's in everyone's best interest to have them evaluated by a mental health professional. Often, with the help of talk therapy and a combination of other treatments, depression can be managed and teens can flourish. Depression leaves telltale signs and symptoms along its path. To be true depression, there needs to be a marked difference between normal behavior and depressive behavior, lasting longer than a period of 2 weeks, and not otherwise caused by a medical condition or substance abuse. Some of the most common in teens are: number one, a change in mood above and beyond normal teenager mood swings. What I mean by that is irritability and sadness or crying that becomes really concerning. If all of a sudden they're screaming at you and you notice this several times over the course of, say, a month, it may be more than regular teenagerhood. Number two, drop in grades. Do not ignore this sign. It can be a leading signal that something is seriously wrong. Number three, changes in friendships. Are you noticing less frequent talk of friends, less time being spent with friends, spending time with new friends you know nothing about? Definitely take a look at the friends and what's happening. Number four, withdrawn and isolating. Are they hibernating in their room more than normal? This can be a sign that they cannot cope with the outside world. Number five, loss of interest in activities. If they normally spent every day playing tennis or basketball, but now could care less, this might be a sign of depression. Sleep changes, either too much or too little. Oftentimes that's a big one. Lack of motivation. Teens are not known for their motivation, but any changes for the worse should be noted. Absences and tardies. Depressed teens don't want to go to school, nor get there on time, nor care about school. And is there a family history of depression? Does someone in your family have depression? Do you? I like to tell my clients that depression is a big fat liar. It likes to tell you to withdraw from people, to hide, to feel unworthy, sleep too much, and carry sadness everywhere you go. If you've seen any of these signs, it may be time to talk to a mental health practitioner or school counselor. As much as we may want to parent it away, depression needs a strategic plan and attention for management. Being a teen today is not like it was when we adults were teens. For adults like me to say, "I understand," is really a false statement. We cannot understand the world in which privacy, boundaries, communication, they've all changed. Think of it this way. The internet system we know today has only been around for about 25 years. Twitter, 9 years. Instagram has only been around for 5 years. And Snapchat, only 4 years. The technology that teens use daily has revolutionized the way in which teens communicate and feel about themselves. That same technology can have a serious impact on mental health. How many likes a teenage girl gets on her Instagram post could determine her mood. Who she sends Snapchats to could signal what group she's hanging with, good and bad. Tweets can signal a cry for help. I encourage each parent to know and understand these mobile apps and install them on their phones. Then follow your teens on the app. See who and what they post. You'll be amazed at how they open up and what was once private. Now the world is open to gay, lesbian, transgender, as well as multi-faith and inclusion. The teenagers today believe the world needs more progression on once taboo topics. Ask your child where they stand on important issues. My guess is they have a strong opinion. Asking your child will allow you to know what's important to them and thus make them feel you are connected. One thing depressed teens need is an involved and connected parent. It is not uncommon for parents to wonder about medication for depression. Medication is a private family decision which should be made with the help of a medical doctor, preferably a psychiatrist who specializes in pediatrics. However, medication is only one part of the puzzle and it's not right for every person. That decision should be made on an individual basis and with the help of these professionals. Now, there are other tools and management strategies that are helpful in treating depression in teens. In my own work with depressed teen clients, I often use a strategy of untangling problems. This strategy helps us determine what is going well in their life, what is not going well, and where the weak spots are located. After we've untangled, we begin to work on tools and skills to handle depressive feelings and dark thoughts. No matter what, the first tool is always exercise. Exercise exhausts the body to try and exhaust the brain and flood it with good endorphins and feel-good chemicals. When we collaborate on behaviors that make the teen feel better, we figure it out. This is an individual preference, but it's very necessary because teens feel empowered by being part of the process. Once we have a few known feel-better behaviors, then we start incorporating more and more techniques to try and manage depressive symptoms. Often, teens love the creative part of finding what works for them. Do they like to bake cupcakes because it makes them feel good? Do they like to draw? Do they like to watch funny YouTube videos? Enlisting their own preferences gives them a sense of control and empowerment over their own mind and mental health. The process of finding depression coping techniques takes time and effort, but with help, depression can be managed. Depression at any age should be taken seriously and cautiously. If your teen has symptoms you think sound like depression, contact a professional for help. Well, that's it for today. I hope you found this topic helpful as we go into the 2015-2016 school year. Thank you for tuning in to Be a Kid in Clarkston. We'll see you next time.